Hello and welcome to the GamesRadar review of Quantum Break. My name is James and I'm here with Dave, who is the senior writer at GamesRadar.
Hello.
Hello Dave, you've been playing a lot of Quantum Break.
I have a great deal.
So let's get started with what the game is based around then, the powers.
The powers of time.
How do they work? When do you get them?
The satisfying thing about it, with a game that's got a lot of additional powers as well, you assume naturally it's going to be slowly eked out over the course of the game. No, Remedy don't want to do that. Remedy make big ass fast shooters. They want to give you all the stuff straight away. So you get the majority of your stuff within the first hour or so of the game. Okay. It kind of throws it at you. There is an incremental unlock system that just lets you sort of quietly tune things up a little bit, makes them a bit more powerful, slows down your cooldowns, that sort of thing. Right. But effectively, most of the tools you've got pretty early on.
So the tools that you get then, are they fun to use?
They are. I mean, if you've played Singularity from 2010, not many people actually did, you'll kind of have a grasp of roughly how it works, because a lot of the stuff's like a version of that, right. In that you can throw kind of bubbles of stasis at guys. If you say you're charging through a battlefield and you want to slow down a flank that's coming down, freeze those guys, charge in, deal with the others, go back in, kill that guy while he's still frozen, launch bullets at them, they'll trigger as soon as the time starts moving again. That's always fun. You can create little bubble shields with time that slow down bullets as they're coming in, so you can give yourself little cover spots as you're moving around. It's all very dynamic and very fast moving. Like, it's about pretty much controlling and reshaping the battlefield as you go, basically. You've got dashes that will let you effectively teleport a short distance, or you can do a later on you can do a full sprint through the battlefield. So you can say you've got a gun turret, some heavy fire come in, just duck and weave between the bullets, go in, clobber the guy when you get in there. It's all very, very quick and really pacey. Okay,
so given that you've got all these powers, how does it manage to scale the difficulty?
That's the thing, it doesn't very well. I mean, it's always fun. I'll preface this by saying it's always fun and very exciting and very giddy. The problem is the pacing of the combat doesn't really scale with the pacing of your confidence with the powers. When at first you'll feel a bit lost because you've got a whole bunch of guns and a bunch of different powers, and you'll just be spamming things out going, is this right? I'm not sure. And then you'll start getting a feel for how strategically to do things, sort of start controlling space a bit better in the way you're doing something like, say, Bioshock Infinite, when you start thinking wider scale. Yeah. As soon as you start getting that stuff locked down, you'll start noticing the enemy AI is not as aggressively sharp as it could be. Even when it starts bringing in heavier units later on, it starts bringing in guys who've got sort of versions of your powers. You never really feel like you're not on top of it all the time, to the point where I think the problem is the combat is sort of feathered out a little bit more than it should be. It should be more intense, which means it should get more time to build up to something big. By the end of the game, you still feel like you're playing at the level you should be about halfway through.
Okay. Well, then let's talk story. It's a time travel experiment that's gone wrong.
Yep.
You've got Jack and Paul who are on very different paths to tackle the incoming end of time.
Yep.
So how does the story play out across the game?
Well, effectively, without wanting to get spoilery, it's a fight over a MacGuffin, basically. There's this thing that some guy affiliated with the two of them, who I won't reveal, has created, which could fix the breaking of time, effectively. Jack wants to use it to try and just put a stop to the fracture at all.
Jack's your main
dude, yeah. Played by Iceman off that X-Men.
Sean Ashmore.
Yeah, that's the guy. Paul is Littlefinger from Game of Thrones.
Good.
And yeah, he is more jaded. He thinks that just using the device to preserve and save a bunch of people is probably the best bet. And it does a good job of layering things up. In both characters eventually, via the various means it's told, feel quite kind of rounded and believable and have their own, like, you could kind of argue the case for either of them. It does a very good job of building the sense of kind of this friendship that's got kind of disjointed, and it's about the breakdown of that, and personalities growing differently as it goes along. But ultimately, the way it's told is it's told over a lot of very disparate, very disjointed means, which kind of stall it a little bit.
So reading your review on site on GamesRadar.com, you said that it's being told through essentially a lot of reading.
So much reading, such reading. It almost harks back to kind of the mid-last gen stage of everything's a diary entry.
So we're talking collectible diary entries that aren't like audio logs, they're actually...
Oh no, I mean it does have audio logs and radio reports, but it's that delightful kind where they fade out when you walk away from them. Okay. So you might as well be reading anyway. Yeah, it's strange. I think maybe it's partly because they don't want to overload you with too much cutscene because the TV show's there as well. So Jack, if you just play it on a surface level, you just get a lot of quite basic point-to-point objective-based narrative. the real meat of it is hidden away in the lore that's elsewhere, and that means reading so much. I'm not anti-reading in games. I love lore hunting. I love Dark Souls, but there is so much that it absolutely derails the pace of the game.
All right. Well, you briefly touched on the TV show, so let's tackle that next.
Yeah.
Is the TV show good?
It's not bad, but
Okay.
you would not watch it if it was not attached to the game.
Can you not watch it? That's
You
important.
can. Oh, you totally can. In fact, during review, I had to not watch some of it as I should have watched
Because
it.
it's all in the cloud, right?
Well, it's streamable, but the streaming was not working very well before launch. I think it's getting better now. You can, though, download it all before you start, and I would recommend that you do just in case. The TV show is okay in a kind of mid-tier TV sort of sci-fi CSI kind of way. It's not great. You've seen much better. You've seen worse stuff. You've seen much better stuff. You wouldn't go out of your way to watch it. It's okay. It's likable. It kind of follows what's going on with the bad guys while you're playing as Jack, basically. Fleshes them out, lays up a lot of stuff. I mean, you get a lot more motivations, quite a lot more kind of bit part characters you might occasionally meet in the game. You'll really understand who they are a lot better. It really fleshes out one or two guys' stories later on. But ultimately, it's not that great on its own.
So Remedy's other game, Alan Wake, if you are fans of that, are they going to enjoy Quantum Break? Are they from totally different...
No, I mean, I think if you followed Remedy throughout, I mean, I have since like Max Payne, there's definitely, you will notice a lot of what you like about Remedy in it.
Is it more Max Payne than Alan Wake?
It's definitely more Max Payne. In terms of the speed and the kind of intimacy of the combat, it's definitely much more Max Payne. I mean, it doesn't feel as much like Max Payne as you'd expect it to with the time stuff. It's definitely a lot quicker and more immediate than Max Payne is.
Right.
But you'll notice a lot of things sort of narratively and in terms of the way Remedy combat's built. I think the issue really is just that there's so many elements of the game competing for your attention that they all kind of jostle each other out the way a little bit. So you can see what, in a more straight delivered Remedy game, would have been a lot of great stuff, kind of gets derailed a little bit, and none of it really gets to shine as well as, maybe it could do.
It sounds like that there's a lot of good elements in there. It's just all a bit, all over the place.
Yeah,
sometimes.
very much. There's a lot of good
somewhere.
stuff there. It's just the ratios are all out of whack, basically, so nothing really takes off like it should.
So let's move on to the score then, Dave.
Yep.
What have you given Quantum Break?
I have given Quantum Break 3.5 stars out of 5.
All right, Dave, thank you very much for that review. If you'd like more news, reviews, previews and features, don't forget to subscribe and keep it here on GamesRadar Plus.